Good evening, I'm Cherise Halsell, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. A police constable missing since Tuesday in the Toledo jungle. But did the BDF leave him behind? We'll have answers about his disappearance and the search and rescue mission. And 2 more die of COVID. We'll tell you about these cases. Plus, Big Tom. He's a notorious gang name in Belize, and the commissioner says he's been arrested for making and circulating a graphic video of sexual coercion. And a big marketplace fight in Belmopan. You'll see the passionate anger. Also, back to school? Not quite yet, almost though. And we'll show you what was happening at some city schools today. Details of these stories and much more ahead tonight on 7 News, so please stay tuned.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
Meals are better at home with Coca-Cola. Collect 2 golden caps of Coca-Cola, Fanta, or Sprite 1.5 liter with the word WIN and 1 golden cap with the word microwave or 1 with the word Oster. And you can win a microwave oven or Oster pots and pans. You'll also receive a free kitchen utensil with all 1.5 liter twin pack purchases. You can collect all 4 utensils. Visit www.coca-cola.com.
All be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
This September will be a virtual one to remember as the National Celebrations Commission and the Minister of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture presents the Night Brown. Wednesday, September 9th, 8 p.m. until live on your favorite local television station and the Niche Facebook page. The Mighty Lord Raven, Mohobab Flores, Chico Ramos, Coconut Boy, Lucio and the New Generation Band, Miami Martinez, Kenny Gladden and the New Creation Band, and the Sweet Pain Band will got you rocking, hosted by DJ Dalla. So get those tent outfit ready, prepare your food and drinks as we will be partying in front of our television sets for the Night Brown. Wednesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. Sponsored by
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
Contraband is the illegal importation of goods such as alcohol, tobacco, foods, and parts. Apart from breaking the law, smugglers are also now endangering the health of all Belizeans. they risk bringing coronavirus into Belize with their contraband. To keep COVID-19 out of Belize, everyone entering the country is screened and quarantined. But contraband smugglers are not using legal entry points and are bypassing all safety measures. And these same smugglers are moving among the population. They could be carrying the virus. By coming into the country illegally, they could cause outbreaks of COVID-19. Buying or smuggling contraband is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Report smuggling. For SMART, call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, 0800-SAVE-BZE. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
Tonight, there is deep worry about the well-being of PC Bernal Ikal, who has been missing in the jungles of the Toledo district since Wednesday morning. Ikal was part of a joint police and BDF patrol which was called in from Machakilha near Belize's southwestern border with Guatemala on Tuesday, due to the hurricane threat. They were to make the 12-hour trek through the dense jungles of the Columbia Forest to San Jose, Hawaii, which is the changeover location. But Ikal went ahead of the BDF soldiers at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and they never saw him again. He was not reported missing by the BDF patrol commander until the following morning, Thursday at 8 a.m. Now, an all-out search to find him, as he has been missing for more than 48 hours in an area of dense bush and active outlaw activity coming from the other side of the border. This evening, via phone, the Commissioner of Police told us more.
As a department and as a ministry, we are all extremely concerned as a result of the disappearance of PC Ikal. PC Ikal was at the Machakila outpost, which is a combined BDF police patrol. And due to the threat of Hurricane Nana, the patrol was recalled from the Machakila area so as to have the officers seek adequate shelter. According to the BDF personnel who were on that patrol, they're saying that having received the instruction to leave the outpost, they did the preparation, and after having done preparation for leaving, they realized that PC Ikal was nowhere to be found. They suspected that he may have left the outpost ahead and that they would have caught up with him along the way. But when they arrived at the San Jose, Hawaii area, which is where they normally would do change over, they still had no sight of him. They waited a few hours and again, no sight of him. And that was when they decided to report to their base of his disappearance. From a law enforcement standpoint, we do have some issues in terms of how this may have occurred. But those issues will be addressed by the BDF internally, as it is a BDF patrol. This morning, a team of SPU personnel and BDF soldiers were deployed to the area to do search and rescue operations. The BDF defender was also sent into the area to do the aerial reconnaissance with a view to see if they will have any sight of him. The BDF has also contacted their counterparts in Guatemala, just in the event that PC ICAL may have wandered off into Guatemala territory and they may come across him. So there's a lot that we are doing right now, and we're not going to stop until we can find PC ICAL. The good news is that he have with him 2 weeks supply of ration. So we're hoping that if it is that he's lost, that he'll be able to sustain himself until he is found, which we're hoping will not be too long.
Will you all be hiring Astrom helicopters maybe to make a more intensive on the ground search? It's the jungle there is so very dense.
Of course, yes, we discussed that this morning, myself and the CEO of Defense, Mr. Enriquez. And Astrom helicopter is on standby, but due to the weather condition, they have not been able to deploy. We're hoping that if the weather clears up, then we'll be able to also use the services of Astrom helicopter.
Sir, do you feel that if the department had received the information in a more timely manner, that it could have responded more effectively?
Well, of course, the quicker you get an information, the better you would be to act on the information. We do understand the length of time it takes to get from the Machakila outpost to San Jose, Hawaii. It is at least about 12 hours constant walking, so it is no short distance. So we understand the length of time it will take, and that could be the reason for the delay in the information coming to us.
Sir, were all best practices and protocols followed on the patrol? You all have so many of these patrols for so many years. I would have to imagine some team protocol has been worked out where officers from the BDF and the police can keep an eye on each other.
Well, the fact that the police officer is missing, I think would be a clear indication that all the proper protocols and procedures were not followed.
Okay, but you are you believe at this time that PC ICAL is alive, and your suspicion is that he's just lost?
Well, there's many possibilities, Jules, but at the end of the day, I want to remain optimistic and hope for the best.
PC ICAL is part of the Special Patrol Unit from San Roman Village, Stan Creek. He texted his wife on Tuesday at about 4 a.m. saying that he was leaving to conduct foot patrol in the Machakilha area along with some other personnel. And while the entire nation joins the commissioner in his earnest hope that PC ICAL is still alive, there is no such hope for two families whose loved ones have been lost to COVID. 2 more deaths, the 14th and 15th since March, were registered today. It is a male in his 50s from Biscayne Village and a female in her 40s from San Pedro, who was a diabetic. Today, on Ask the Experts, Dr. Marvin Manzanero disclosed more.
We have had 2 deaths in the last 24 hours. One is in a female who had been intubated for a week at Carl Huchner. That patient had been referred 1 week ago from San Pedro to Carl Huchner and had been intubated through the weekend because of respiratory failure. That patient passed away earlier today after being there for 1 week. The other case is that in a male from rural Belize district. He died shortly after arrival at Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital on Tuesday, September 1st. The person didn't seem to have, or wasn't reported that they had any respiratory symptom. The primary reason why he was being taken to the hospital was general weakness, general malaise, fatigue, with loss of appetite. He died shortly after arriving at Carl Huchner. The protocol is that we would have tested him with a gene export sample, which is what we use for cases that may have are highly suspect and are in the containment area or the transition area at Karl Huchner, to determine quickly if they are a potential COVID-19 case. The initial gene export test had been negative, but protocol again calls that once it's negative, we do a PCR test on that person, and that result has come back positive for SARS-CoV-2. So while in the death certificate, it's not going to list COVID-19 as a primary cause of death, we do call that as an associated. So it is placed somewhere in the death certificate. And mind you, we have had a couple of death certificates that have been done that we have had to go back and review to place that diagnosis in there.
And while there are those two deaths, there are still 2 COVID patients currently intubated on ventilators. We mentioned this because sadly, so far, no COVID patient has recovered once they were intubated. That is a worrying statistic, but there is hope, especially with a 42-year-old doctor from the Western region who has been intubated for over a week now. But the news tonight is that he may be taken off the ventilator soon. Dr. Manzanero explained.
Our colleague, the epidemiologist from the Western Hill region, is progressing along fairly well, and they would attempt to take sedation off through hopefully this weekend, and that's the first step as you aim to take somebody off a ventilation mechanism. And this is I mean, good news, and we always are on the lookout for any information that comes in light of that, because the longer you stay hooked up to a ventilator, then the prognosis can get worse. He is one of 2 confirmed cases that are currently intubated at Karl Huchner. How many cases are hospitalized? Well, I have mentioned that at Karl Huchner, I know they discharged 3 patients earlier today from their ICU, and they would still have, I believe, 3 more that are still on supplementary oxygen at Karl Huchner.
We'll have more from today's Ask the Expert session later on in the news. There's a very ugly video depicting a cruel act of sexual coercion, which is being circulated right now. And it's making news tonight. That's because the man seen coercing a woman to perform graphic acts on another has been arrested by police. He is a notorious gang figure, and the Commissioner of Police discussed why the police are intent on charging him.
Yesterday, the police investigation led them to a house in the St. Martin's area. At the house, the police came across the narrator in the video, who I can say now is Kenneth Big Tom Flowers. This young woman in the video who was being forced to perform that gross act of indecency on a other male person. That male person was also found, and the proprietor or the owner of the house. They were all found in the same house in the St. Martin's area. Since then, we have interviewed these persons, and I can say that the young woman do not want to cooperate with the police. She is more concerned about Big Tom than her own self. We have brought her mother into the picture to see what kind of support she can offer to her daughter, and we're hoping that she will be able to get additional support, maybe from the women's department, to look at the issue of counseling and emotional and moral support. I had looked at the criminal code amendment that deals with sexual offenses, and we have identified 3 offenses for which Big Tom, the owner of the house, and another person who was present can be charged. Let me also state that Southside Belize City remains under the gang state of emergency. And when you look at the whole issue surrounding this video and the activity of Kenneth Big Tom Flowers, there is some gang correlation there. And so based on that, we have also prepared detention order for Big Tom, the proprietor of the house, and the other person who was with them at the house. And they'll be sent to prison under the state of emergency. Now, we're hoping that the time that he will be at prison, it would give the young woman and the other individual the courage to be able to speak to us more openly and cooperate so that we can lay additional charges on these individuals.
We had a much broader conversation with the commissioner about gendered humiliation involving a senior cop who publicly berated and humiliated a woman on the street. And you can hear that later. Fight over the market in Belmopan.
Rice Premier Products Limited has been proudly serving Belize for many years. We aim to serve you better and are pleased to announce our new office with convenient parking at number 1728 Chetamal Street, Belize City. Here, you will find our Price Smart outlet opening on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Be impressed with the variety of quality branded products such as Pampers, Always, Tide and Downy, Del Monte, DAC, Vigo and Alessi, Duracell, Crystal Farm Cheese, Linda Powdered Milk, Great Lakes Pork Tails, Ground Coffee, Authentic Gillette for men and women. We distribute many of the world's top and finest brands to supermarkets and stores nationwide. For authentic brands and quality products, visit us today. Price Premier Products Limited, importer and distributor of fine quality products.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
I am Ronald, lineman lead hand at BL. We are an essential service and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we keep the lights on for our customers.
I work outdoors and my job is to provide safe and reliable power.
Our teams continue to serve communities across Belize.
When we started to build our house, we knew that we would have to enjoy living in it for the rest of our lives.
At Benny's, we found a large selection of exactly what we wanted.
Today our house is finished. The windows, doors and door locks combine strength and quality to give our home a good feeling of security.
We're completely pleased with our kitchen, which features state-of-the-art Delta faucets and reliable GE appliances.
Our bath fixtures and accessories blends perfectly with the tiles that we paint.
We used warm paint colors that give a cozy effect, complementing our lights and fans.
From the grand entrance onto our beautifully tiled floors.
We are comfortable in our home, truly content with the knowledge that we did well shopping at Benny's.
Benny's and you, together we can make your dream house come true.
Meals are better at home with Coca-Cola. Collect 2 golden caps of Coca-Cola, Fanta, or Sprite 1.5 liter with the word WIN and 1 golden cap with the word microwave or 1 with the word Oster. And you can win a microwave oven or Oster pots and pans. You'll also receive a free kitchen utensil with all 1.5 liter twin pack purchases. You can collect all 4 utensils. Visit www.coca-cola.com.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
I'm Chef Sean Quillen, and I got a nice surprise for you today.
Take your cooking skills to a whole new level with Glazed Out, TNC's first ever cooking show with culinary expert Chef Sean Quillen. Tune in every week for exciting Belizean cuisine and some of Belize's biggest names in culinary art and culture, and watch as they create unique and delicious meals that will surely excite your taste buds. Glazed Out in the kitchen with Chef Sean.
Belizean food, how another level. Premiering only on TNC 10.
A year ago in September, the UDP promised assistance to farmers affected by drought. The farmers waited.
We had a little issue there.
And waited.
The first problem we had, if I may say so.
And they got nothing. In April of this year, still nothing.
That money will not be available maybe until September, October.
And now, in September, more promises.
If we had an audience, we would certainly be clapping for this.
Nobody's clapping for this UDP circus. Lies and false promises while the people suffer. It is time for all of you to go.
Tonight, Belmopan Mayor Khalid Belail and his city council are being called out by a group of fruit and vegetable vendors. That's because they are trying to relocate to a more centrally located area to conduct their business. But the mayor says that they can't occupy a piece of private property unless the owners get a proper license to turn it into a marketplace. Residents of the Garden City tell us that Belmopan's marketplace used to be centrally located at the parking lots belonging to the Belize Social Security and the Civic Center. This area allowed for customers from Belmopan to get easy access to the vendors. But several months ago, the coronavirus pandemic came to Belize. To protect public health and create more space, the City Council relocated them to the National Agriculture and Trade Show grounds. According to the vendors, their customers have since been complaining that the new marketplace is very inconvenient for them. The vendors say that they began to lose business, and so when they were approached by the private developer David Zabani to relocate yet again, it was an offer they couldn't refuse. That's because Zabani has a family property located right across the street from Social Security and the Civic Center. They were basically being enticed to move near to their previous location, but there was only one problem. According to the City Council, Zabani has an obligation to apply to them for a license to have his family property designated as the new marketplace. He hasn't done this as yet, and so when the vendors began setting up shop on the private property, the police moved in early this morning to discourage and prevent any business. Our colleagues from Plus TV News have been following this story from before daybreak this morning, and with their help, our Daniel Ortiz put together this report.
This standoff over a suitable marketplace for Belmopan's vegetable and fruit vendors began early this morning before sunrise. A group of vendors who had been occupying the National Agriculture and Trade Show grounds was prepared to begin selling at a new location which they say is more favorable to business and more easily accessible to customers. They already had their stalls set up on the private property of the developer David Zabane, a property that is being proposed as the new market site. But before the vendors could begin their final preparations to welcome early customers, police were already there this morning to greet them with a cease and desist order. The police were acting on behalf of the Belmopan City Council, which insists that because Zabane hasn't gotten the appropriate trade license to turn his property into a market, it is illegal for them to conduct business there.
You guys are leaving?
Yeah.
You're backing up and going?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they say if we stay, they will charge we.
That's what they said?
Yes, that's what they said. I don't know how to call them policemen and say that if we stay, they will charge we. They will kick we out. Yeah.
When did
and
they set up?
They will take out we license for sell.
Okay.
So they just can't tell we.
So when are going? We're going to go back out that showgrounds?
No. I have all of my. I don't want to go back there, but we have to go back there because we need to, at least for make for sell for rice or something. Okay. Especially in this crisis where we're there.
As the morning progressed, the vendors began to organize themselves into an effort to peacefully but adamantly resist the orders of the police.
Employment is a right. That's the only opportunity we, the poor people, have. Hustle with a few onions and tomatoes. We want a private market for the poor. This is a call to the mayor. Please authorize a license to this place because knowing we have land here, it is a sin to have us over there where there's no business.
This is not about city council. This is not about anybody else. This is about all those people that you see out here who are trying to earn an honest living, who are trying to ensure that they can get food for their children, who can get send their children to school. This is about hard-working people who, at the end of the day, are asking nothing else but permission to go and work. I don't see what is the issue. I don't see why City Council is taking this hard stance on these people.
People are in survival mode, and the vendors are in survival mode. And they're not out here because they want to give trouble. I believe that it is a genuine concern. They need to sell their produce, and we need to eat. We need to buy.
But the cops were obliged to do their jobs and uphold the law. That meant that they had to employ all kinds of diplomacy to convince these frustrated vendors to voluntarily leave the unauthorized marketplace.
I do not want this thing to get out of hand. We could discuss it. I've been discussing with Mr. Zabane and Mr. Logan who have out here. I've been discussing with them. We could do what we are supposed to do. First of all, standing out here like this is a form of protest and it is illegal. You have a right as a Belizean to protest, but you need to apply.
David Zabane, the developer of the property, says that he will attempt to get the license so that if the vendors still want to return to his family's property, they won't be breaking any laws.
Vendors at this time? Well, the vendors, it's up to them what they want to do. I told them, I don't want them to break the law, but at the same time, I can't force anybody to do or not do what they want. I didn't force anyone to come out here. They all came on their free will. I'm going to do what I need to do to protect myself and not break any laws out here. So until we could get that sorted out, I'm hoping that the councillors, the decision makers in Belmopan can see these vendors are crying for help. So I hope that you can at least appeal to them a little bit and let's get this process going.
Reporting for 7 News, Daniel Ortiz.
As you saw in our story, Oscar Mira, the PUP's standard bearer in Belmopan, came out in support of the vendors. Before midday, he and his party sent out a press release saying, quote, "It is hypocritical and discriminatory of them to target one individual who is offering his private land for use by the vendors, while several other small private markets are operating around the city without interference. Sending police officers to block access to a private space is uncalled for." The Belmopan City Council sent out a release of their own, saying, "The site being informally introduced as an alternative to the current Market Day location has not yet received the proper licenses needed to conduct any business. This venue must go through the proper procedures to obtain its trade license, as all other businesses in Belmopan have done before it. The Belmopan City Council looks forward to working with the proprietors of this new business venture. We will treat them with the same due care and diligence with which we have treated all prospective business owners and business establishments that have come before them." End quote. They close out their press release by saying, "There should be no business transactions at the impromptu market, as this would be in violation of the Trade License Act of Belize. The Council reserves the right to pursue all available penalties under the laws of Belize." Monday is technically the first day of school, but while you won't be dropping the kids off at school just yet, you may find yourself helping them to complete at-home learning packets. That's because yesterday, teachers nationwide were called back to their empty classrooms to prepare much-needed catch-up materials. I stopped by 2 Belize City primary schools to find out about the first tentative step toward the new school year. The return to school is an important and hopefully welcome step, but ahead of that return, GOB is focusing on what they call a recovery month, in which teachers, like St. Luke's Carol Martin, are preparing learn-at-home packets so that children can get caught up on what they missed during 2020's lost third term.
We have been preparing paper-based and online learning for students. We know that parents right now are not too much into in technology or the online learning because of constraints, but we are also preparing the paper-based work for those parents who are not able to do the online learning. For the standard 6 level, the paper-based package will include mathematics, language arts, social studies, science, and HFLE. We are looking at doing an activity for each day in math and in other subject areas as well. Instructions are being given to children so that they can clearly understand what it is that they're to do for each of the activity given. So we have an introduction activity, a development activity, and a concluding activity for them to do at home. If they are doing the online learning, likewise, the same information will be given to them online.
And along with those packets, teachers are also preparing mini lesson plans to give to principals as an overview of what students are taking home. And over at All Saints Primary, I asked Principal Colin Estrada if he thought that 1 month was too short a time frame to catch up on a whole term.
Well, it is not much of a bother. What happens is that, remember, our children have been out for approximately 5 months, and so it is getting them back into the rhythm of school, and so even if some of them might not get it, we will still have to be able to do our work as a school to be able to get the children to the level that we need them. Because even on a daily basis, there will be some children who might have some learning disabilities or some special needs that we still have to be able to work with. So it is not much of a bother for our staff.
And while the focus is on academics, we wondered if these educators have any fears surrounding the eventual return to full classrooms and the potential for a schoolyard outbreak of COVID-19.
I previously had some anxiety because children are loving. They like to cling with each other, they like to associate with each other. And most of the time they will want to hug, give each other a handshake. And so I was quite concerned about them coming back to school and the interaction and the space within these classrooms. I mean, when we came here, we were trying to fit 15 students in a classroom. And for some classrooms, there are more than 15 if you even cut the total amount for a class in half, right? So we were looking at how we were going to get them into the space and how they were going to maneuver themselves, do activities that will not allow them to be interacting, in touching each other, and even the materials they were going to use, how are they going to use these materials, to learn how will they be sanitary enough for them to use and for the other set of students who will be coming in the afternoon. So it was quite a lot of preparation and thinking. And as a school and the administration, we were able to get through some of the hurdles. So I think we would be prepared maybe 2 months down the road, and I'm hopeful that things will get better.
We're looking for directives from the ministry in terms of when they will allow us to be face-to-face with the students, and even when it is that face-to-face, what will happen is that we will have half at one time and then half at the other time. There is that risk, and what happens is that we will have to take the necessary precautions that are there, and one of the things that we're seeing that how there's an increase in the numbers, and so even when you came on the compound, one of the things that we did for you and for your team was for them to be able to for you to do what? To follow the protocols.
And in a short while, provided that the protocols are in place and the maintenance of social distancing is enforced, children will have to make that return to school. But in the meantime, our educators told us that the most important thing parents can do is to keep their minds engaged.
In all of the packets that we're sending out, there is a timetable that is in there that parents can work with their students with their children, and what we're asking them is engage your children. Engage them, work with them.
As a teacher, even as a parent, you have to be concerned because I have children of my own. And as parents, what we need to do is just keep our children involved in simple reading, the books, addition, subtraction, whatever basic there is that you can do, keep your children's mind active.
Cherise Halsall, 7 News. And to make the opening more real, on Monday morning at 9 o'clock, the Ministry of Education will be hosting a virtual school opening. You can see that right here on Channel 7. And to complement online and paper-based learning, teachers will be providing weekly feedback via phone calls, WhatsApp, and Facebook, with parents encouraged to keep in touch with schools for any guidance they require. It's cocaine, but with a champagne finish. San Pedro Special Branch and the Special Patrol Unit found more than 7.5 pounds of the drug, along with almost $10,000 in cash, in a search last night. It was inside the lower flat of a 2-story house, which is located in the Boca del Rio area of the island. They found 3 men inside: 21-year-old Jaime Hernandez, a chef from Boca del Rio, 18-year-old Ethan Bardales, a maintenance worker of the DFC area, and 21-year-old Leon Williams, a resident of Boca del Rio. They found a red knapsack in one bedroom, and it contained 2 stacks of $50 bills bound with rubber bands. The cops then kept searching the house, and inside the 3rd bedroom, they found another knapsack which contained 3 parcels emblazoned with the name of a French champagne. But it wasn't bubbly inside, it was powder. An incision was made on all 3 parcels, and that's when the cops found a white powdery substance. The money was then counted in the presence of the residents, and it added up to $9,600 cash. When all 3 packages were weighed, the total amount of suspected cocaine was 3.455 kilos, or approximately 7.617 pounds. All 3 defendants were arrested and charged with the offense of possession of a controlled drug with the intent to supply. Last night, a small but well-known Freetown Road funeral parlor burned to the ground. It happened on Freetown Road, where you'd think a large blaze would have attracted a lot of attention, but that hardly seemed to be the case. And by the time we got there this morning, the proprietor was nowhere to be found. Station Supervisor Kenneth Mortis told us that his team fought under rainfall.
This morning, at approximately 1:26 a.m., we received a call of a structural fire in progress on Freetown Road, to be exact, corner Freetown and Kelly Street. The fire department proceeded to the location, and upon arrival we observed the remains of a collapsed wooden structure that was fully engulfed. We immediately commenced firefighting operations. Of course, we were hampered a bit by the electrical wiring that was a bit hazardous to my team in trying to extinguish this blaze. However, BEL made themselves available to our assistance, and they neutralized the area, and we were able to fully extinguish this fire before any further structure could have been engulfed by the inferno. We went back on the scene this afternoon, whereby we conducted an investigation into trying to determine the cause and origin of this said fire. We learned that the owner of the establishment, Mr. Sanjay Pilgrim, if my information is correct, We could not get a hold of him to have a one-on-one with Mr. Pilgrim, as we were learned by the police department he was detained pending other criminal matter. We also learned that Mr. Pilgrim's establishment housed an apparent wooden structure which is located directly adjacent to the front of the establishment. Investigations can confirm that the fire started from the rear of that dwelling structure where the bedroom was located. The fire in turn consumed that particular dwelling and later on destroyed the office that housed the Pilgrim funeral parlor. Our investigation is a bit at a standstill, like I mentioned earlier, due to the fact that Mr. Pilgrim isn't available for us to answer the questions that we might have for him, but that doesn't mean our investigation is in there.
Sir, was the blaze made any worse by the burning of the wooden coffins?
Actually, I shouldn't say it was any worse because, like I mentioned earlier, the building had already collapsed. The material that was used, I believe, to build these coffins were a bit of a hindrance. We found some heavy-duty machinery that the remainder of the building had fallen on, which did prove an obstacle for us. Like I mentioned, we had to battle electricity, and then to top it off, we had to battle with the rain. So people might want to say, but there's a house fire in a rain, but fire doesn't have any barrier, it doesn't hold no restrictions. So we did what we had to do. We were fortunate enough whereby we could have contained this fire to one building. I guess the strategic location in terms of the neighboring houses, which stood at the nearest 30 feet away, that played a big role in just having that one building being destroyed by the fire.
The opposition PUP is calling for urgent relief to the banana industry. As we told you yesterday, Hurricane Nana significantly damaged 4 farms near the Placentia cutoff. A release from the party says this will translate immediately to the loss of critical foreign exchange and employment for many. We call on the government to immediately provide whatever assistance is necessary to bolster this industry. This cannot be a replay of the situation with our farmers in the north, who are still awaiting drought relief promised to them since September 2019. And while we might want to think that Nana's banana drama was the extent of the small storm's damage to the agricultural sector, other small farmers were equally affected, as far south as Jalacte in the Toledo district. Yesterday in Toledo, PGTV's Will Mejia spoke to one small farmer who said Nana mashed up her crops, both for sale and subsistence.
Well, early this morning at 6 o'clock, we feel like hard breeze, and then we were ashamed of it, and then it damaged a lot of our coffee, about 100 plants of coffee, and
so you grew coffee here?
Yeah.
And the hurricane damaged your coffee.
Yeah.
What else did it damage?
Our milpa.
Okay.
Yeah, and we depend on the milpa on our food.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you lose a lot of your corn?
Yeah, we lose a lot, about 15 acres.
Of corn?
Yeah.
Pop says she has not reported her losses to Nemo. And in other farming news, the PUP area rep for Orange Walk South is reporting that 5 farmers are being held, in his words, unlawfully by the authorities. The 5 men from Shipyard were caught last night near Santa Familia, allegedly trying to smuggle 35 heads of cattle over to Guatemala. All this after curfew hours. Cayo police have them detained for a breach of curfew and for moving cattle without a permit authorized by Baja. But they have also detained them as border jumpers because of suspected contact with Guatemala. For the PUP's Jose Mai, it's an abuse of power for the cattlemen just trying to make a sale. The commissioner told us why the police see it differently.
He says they are being held unlawfully. What is the police's perspective on this?
Well, I want to disagree with the honorable gentleman in a sense that the fact that these people are being detained is not an unlawful act.
let me first and foremost say that you're fully aware of the fact that just about a week or so ago, it was announced by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture that we have now regularized the trade of cattle between Belize and Guatemala. And subsequent to that, I think about 2 days later, in respect to Belize and Mexico. So while they have been regularizing the trade of cattle between the three countries, it was made clear that the trade of cattle must be done through the established port of entry, which would be the western border and the northern border. These people were found with these cattle on the Bully Tree Road, which means that they were using the Cala Creek, Santa Rosa area, which would be an illegal border crossing point. And more so is that this was being done during curfew hours. So they were all acting in violation of the curfew. These were found with quetzal, which is Guatemalan money. So the fact that they were found with quetzal, we are not sure if they may have already come into contact with Guatemalans. So based on that, they were swabbed and placed in quarantine. We want to be sure that they are not positive of the COVID-19 virus, because even if we were to charge them for the breach of curfew, the court would not accept them to be arraigned unless they have a test from the Ministry of Health to say that they are free of the COVID-19 virus.
In his note to the media, the PUP's Jose Mai says, quote, "They are being charged for border jumping and held at a quarantine facility in San Ignacio. They were forcefully taken to the hospital for COVID-19 testing. The health authorities refused to do the tests, stating that there's no reason to do so. They were forced to do it," end quote. Police say they had to force medical staff to swab them because they cannot take them before the court without that being done. After the break, we'll tell you how you can take part in this weekend's September celebration opening ceremonies. And we'll argue with the police commissioner about gendered humiliation shown to a female by one of his officers and sexual coercion carried out by a gangster to a young woman.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country, because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
Meals are better at home with Coca-Cola. Collect 2 golden caps of Coca-Cola, Fanta, or Sprite 1.5 liter with the word WIN, and 1 golden cap with the word microwave, or 1 with the word Oster, and you can win a microwave oven or Oster pots and pans. You'll also receive a free kitchen utensil with all 1.5 liter twin pack purchases. You can collect all 4 utensils. Visit www.coca-cola.com.
All be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
This September will be a virtual one to remember, as the National Celebrations Commission and the Minister of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture presents the Night Brown. Wednesday, September 9th, 8 p.m. until live on your favorite local television station and the Niche Facebook page. The Mighty Natty Lord Raven, Mohobab Flores, Chico Ramos, Coconut Boy, Lucio and the New Generation Band, Miami Martinez, Kenny Gladden and the New Creation Band, and the Sweet Pain Band will got you rocking, hosted by DJ Dalla. So get those tent outfit ready, prepare your food and drinks, as we will be partying in front of our television sets for the Night Bram, Wednesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. Sponsored by
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country, because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
El contrabando es importar ilegalmente productos como el alcohol, tabaco, comida y objetos. Aparte de romper la ley, los contrabandistas están poniendo ahora en riesgo la salud de los beliceños. Ellos arriesgan traer coronavirus a Belice por medio de sus contrabandos. Para mantener el COVID-19 fuera de Belice, todos los que entren al país son examinados y encuarentenados. Sin embargo, los contrabandistas no utilizan los puntos de entrada legal y se saltan todas las medidas de seguridad. Estos mismos traficantes se están moviendo entre la población. Ellos podrían tener el virus. Al entrar ilícitamente al país, esto puede provocar un brote de COVID-19. Comprar o traficar contrabando te pone a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Para números de Smart, llama al 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi 0800-728-3293 para reportar cualquier actividad de contrabando. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
COVID-19 pandemic continues to deal devastating blows to our health and economic sectors. While our agricultural sector has suffered, the reality is that our farmers have long been neglected and cries for assistance have been ignored. No more. We have listened. Join the People's United Party on social media and mainstream media outlets on Wednesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. In consultation with farmers and agricultural stakeholders countrywide, the party has created a comprehensive plan to breathe new life into this most critical sector. From tax reform to and financing to diversification and new markets, food security will be a major priority of a new PUP government.
Because of the destructive power of a hurricane, you should never ignore an evacuation order. Authorities will most likely direct you to leave if you are in low-lying area or within the greatest potential path of the storm. If a hurricane warning is issued for your area, you are directed by authorities to evacuate. Take only essential items with you. Make sure you have an emergency kit in your car. If you have time, turn off the gas, electricity, and water. Unplug appliances to reduce the likelihood of electrical shock when power is restored. Follow the designated evacuation routes and expect heavy traffic. Adzalan Audio and Video Production Company wants you and your family to be safe this hurricane season. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Brought to you by Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company and this station.
Our neighbors, Guatemala and Mexico, are experiencing rapidly increasing numbers of COVID-19 cases, and there are more deaths every day. Persons entering Belize illegally from these hotspot countries are not being tested for COVID-19. That's why it is important to report anyone entering Belize illegally by calling our hotlines. Smart users call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, call 0800-SAVE-BZE. Condoning or engaging in border jumping is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Remember, anyone caught will be fined up to $5,000 and or imprisoned for 2 years. Stop border jumping now. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
Saltar la frontera es ilegal y coloca a toda la nación en riesgo. Nuestros vecinos, Guatemala y México, han experimentado un rápido incremento de casos de contagio de COVID-19 y hay más muertes cada día. Personas entrando a Belice ilegalmente, viniendo de esos países con múltiples casos, no les están haciendo las pruebas de COVID-19. Es por eso que es importante reportar a cualquiera que entre ilegalmente a Belice llamando a nuestras líneas directas. Para Smart, marque 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi, marque 0800-728-3293. Tolerar o participar en entrar ilegalmente es ponerte a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Recuerda, cualquiera que sea arrestado deberá pagar una multa de hasta 5,000 y o prisión por 2 años. Detén el salto de fronteras hoy. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
If it is you and your family are expected to evacuate, then prepare for it. When a hurricane watch is issued, you should review your emergency plans and supplies and check to see if any items are missing. Make sure you have supplies in your home and an emergency kit in your car. Turn on the radio or television for weather updates. Fill sinks and bathtubs with water as an extra supply for washing. Fill your car's gas tank. If no vehicle is available, make arrangements with friends or family for transportation. Secure any items outside which may cause injury or damage to property during high winds. Secure any structurally unstable buildings and tie down loose building materials. Cover windows and doors with plywood or boards and place large strips of masking tapes on the windows to reduce the risk of breakage and flying glass. Put livestock and family pets in a safe area. If possible, put vehicles under cover. Adjust the thermostat on refrigerators and freezers to the coolest possible temperature. Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company wants you and your family to be safe this hurricane season. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Brought to you by Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company and this station. Preferably before the hurricane season, stock your home with supplies. At a minimum, these should include several clean containers for water, enough to hold 1 gallon of water per person per day for at least 3 days. This should be enough for drinking and sanitation. You should also have water purifying supplies on hand, such as chlorine or iodine tablets, or unscented ordinary household chlorine bleach, a first aid kit and manual, prescription medicines and special medical supplies, baby food and prepared formula, diapers and other baby supplies, a 3 to 5 day supply of non-perishable food, flashlights and extra batteries, sleeping bags and extra blankets, personal hygiene supplies such as soap, toothpaste and sanitary napkins. Baby wipes are useful for the entire family in cases where bathing facilities are not available. And emergency kit for your car with food, flares, booster cables, maps, tools, first aid kit, fire extinguisher, and sleeping bags. Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company wants you and your family to be safe this hurricane season. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Brought to you by Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company and this station.
Last night, we showed you the COVID-adjusted September celebrations calendar. The bottom line of this year's celebrations is that public safety consideration of COVID-19 spread must come first. So most of the major patriotic events from this month will have to be done virtually, over the internet, so that Belizeans can participate in them at home. The first event on the calendar is the official launch ceremony, which takes place this coming Sunday evening. For the logistics of this event, Niche and the September Celebrations Commission are working with the company Flavas Entertainment. This year's launch will be brought to you in the form of a production and live broadcast, which will take place at the Placentia Resort. This afternoon, we spoke to one of the organizers about what you can expect when you tune in on Sunday at 3 p.m. Here's what she told us.
So what happened is Niche has teamed up with organizations who have already been working within this online kind of virtual world that we are now living in. And they have said, okay, guys, we have the September celebrations coming up. We want to make sure that we're still celebrating, that, you know, we're showing our patriotism. What are you, how can we partner with you guys, you know, to make our celebrations happen as well? Flavors Entertainment has been working on a project for the past couple of months called From Belize with Love. It's a documentary and a live concert series that talks about the Belizean culture, the Belizean music, the Belizean people. So we had kind of already reached out to Niche and say, hey guys, you know, this is what we're doing now in this new virtual world. They informed us that the launch of the September celebrations was to take place in Dangriga this year. And we were actually already down south recording, you know, so we were able to collaborate with them and record all the official speeches from Dangriga, you know, and speak to some people there in Dangriga, you know, and we're able now then to present a view of Dangriga, you know, virtually. And then we will go from that little presentation and official ceremonies on to a concert, which will then show the cultural acts, you know, from Dangriga. And the concert will be broadcast live from the Placencia Resort.
We also asked Andazi to discuss what they are doing to observe the COVID-19 protocols, such as social distancing and mask wearing, while putting on this show. She told us that the venue provides them with more than adequate space to keep all of the participants safe.
We'll have the official ceremony, and then we will have a presentation. It's almost similar to the documentary that we'll be doing for our production From Belize with Love, where we present to you the culture of Dangriga, well, I should say the culture of Stan Creek, you know? And then after that, we go into the live performances. You know, even though we're doing things online, you know, we wanted to record the performances live so that you have that feeling of still being there. And doing it at a place like the Placencia Resort gives us the luxury of being able to follow the MOH guidelines, to be socially distanced while still producing something for the people, you know. So their property is quite large, and we will have people like separated into, you know, different rooms until they're able to come on stage, and we won't have that interaction. We won't have more than 10 people in one place at the same time. You know, everybody will have personal sanitizers. Everybody will be wearing masks. You know, our whole crew will be wearing masks and face shields. You know, so though we're not able to have an audience, you know, you're still able to get that live effect as if you were there celebrating. You know, we have some amazing performers there. We have Super G, and we've asked him to also bring the Charikanari drummers and dancers. We have Brother David, and he's bringing the Sambai dancers and drummers. We have the band, the drummers from out of St. Bite. We have even a new artist, Kylan Curry and Kerwin Ramirez. We have the Sweet Pain Band. So we have about an hour of just packed entertainment for you. You know, we'll probably go a little bit over an hour, you know, but it will be a very dynamic presentation.
The opening ceremony begins at 3 p.m. on Sunday, and you can see it here on Channel 7. Last night's latest COVID figures show 17 positive cases coming out of 91 samples tested. 3 of those positives are in the Cayo district between San Ignacio and Benqueviejo. 1 is in Belize City, and 13 are from the Orange Walk district, broken down between Orange Walk Town, San Felipe, and San Jose. There are now 1,118 confirmed cases since March, with 850 of them currently active. 15 cases were determined to have recovered yesterday. As we told you earlier on the news, there are 2 more deaths, bringing that total to 15. That was last night, and today on Ask the Experts, Dr. Manzanero discussed the latest figures, which came out this evening.
In terms of the preliminary data for today, it's pending, of course, for it to be reviewed, 265 samples. It seems preliminary that it's 34 positive cases. And I say preliminary because the lab will only put it out as a positive case. It could very well be that once you go back to the data, you find out that the person has already been diagnosed and it's only a person that remains positive after a given amount of days. So that's why you always have to cross-check to make sure that these are, in point of fact, new cases.
Tonight, the latest figures show 261 samples processed. 261 today, with 34 of them positive. 4 in the Corozal district, 2 in Pachacan, and 2 in Cristo Rey. 9 in the Cayo district, 5 of those in Benque Viejo, 1 in Santa Elena, 2 San Ignacio, 1 in Yalbac, and 6 in the Stan Creek district. 1 from the Toledo district, who is originally from Belize City, and in the Belize district, 14 cases including Belize City, Burrell Boom, Ladyville, Lordsbank, Kecocker, and Biscayne. Tonight, a police officer is in critical condition at the KHMH after an accident yesterday. It happened on the Pachacan Chan Chen Road, where 44-year-old Corporal Anival Mena crashed into a Toyota Hilux X. The commissioner told us more.
Well, yes, Corporal Mena was on his way home to Libertad Village, Corozal District. This was sometime after 5 p.m. yesterday evening. And reaching the junction, he collided with a pickup truck, resulting in him sustaining severe head injuries. He was rushed to the Corozal Polyclinic and then later to the KHMH, where he is currently admitted in a critical condition. It is a sad time for us. Corporal Mena is the officer in charge of the Crooked Tree Police Station, where I must say that he was doing a hell of a job. We will just hope and pray that he recovers fully.
We also asked the Compol about a cell phone video capturing sexual harassment by a senior police officer. He's in a car, bad-mouthing a young woman who was walking. The video emerged weeks ago, and in it, he seems to have had a relationship with her, but was unhappy about her movements and proceeded to berate and humiliate her on the street, calling her a prostitute. Here's our conversation with the Compol about how this video compares to the one where a gangster, allegedly Big Tom, is seen humiliating and coercing a woman for allegedly being a prostitute.
A prostitute, whole night, watch pana. Prostitute, now look on it, look. This is the way I call a prostitute. What you just come out of a man car. Text me just now, tell me I can pick up 8:30.
The tone of the videos are the same, where the senior police officer is seen trailing a woman and sexually harassing her in the street.
Jules, I think you're mixing oranges and apples. You cannot compare the Adriana video to this one. It is about 20 notch higher.
I agree that this is a more graphic video.
Let me finish, Mr. Vasquez. Yes, you're interviewing me. I must be allowed to answer your question.
Of course.
Right? Yes, the issue with the Adriana video, there was nothing in that video which shows that the person in question was inciting other persons to perform any sexual act. There was nothing in the video to suggest that there was any threat being made to any person if they do not perform the sexual act.
But sir, what you are missing here is where the seed of sexual violence begins. Because I don't want to get into a philosophical conversation, but what the person in this video, supposedly Big Tom, is doing is he's saying, I am abusing you because of what I think you did sexually with your sex life. What is happening in that Adriana video? The senior police officer is sexually harassing this woman for what he feels she is doing in her private sex life. The tone of it is the same, that I am able to speak about your private sex life and humiliate and demean you for it. Yes, the actions are very different, but the thought is the same, sir.
Humiliating somebody is not a crime. What was done in that video with the young lady and Big Tom is more than humiliation. It was humiliation accompanied by gross act of indecency, which, as I would say, outraged public decency. We must separate the two. In the case of the Adriana video, while yes, I agree with you that the person or the police officer you're speaking about was utterly wrong to have done what he did. But his actions were not accompanied by no gross act of indecency.
As far as we know, the cop in question was not sanctioned for that video. And finally tonight, the price for butane is dropping. Liquefied petroleum gas, which Belizeans know better as butane, is now going to retail at the price of 97 cents per pound, which translates to $97 per 100-pound cylinder. That price will be in all the urban areas of Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Town, Benque Viejo del Carmen, Orange Walk Town, Corozal Town, Dangriga, and Punta Gorda. Butane will also retail in all the rural areas of the country at the price of 99 cents per pound or $99 per 100-pound cylinder. And that's all we have for you on 7 News tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Cherise Halsell. You can see a stream of the news at 7newsbelize.com and on our Facebook page. There's no curfew or lockdown anywhere tonight, so it's all on us to stay clear of the coronavirus. Wash your hands, keep social distance of 6 feet, wear a mask, and stay home if possible. The virus doesn't move unless you do. Stay safe and join Indira Craig back here on Monday. Good night and have a great weekend.